Bosh, I hear you, but at the same time, I worry I'll stumble over my words or say something stupid, so I just tend to avoid the conversation altogether. Then die! No! I'm afraid this fundamental human life skill might take a bit of effort for me to get good at, so I'll just never do it. Drink water? What if I spill some on my lap? Never again. Never again. All right, I'm keeping this one short and sweet because I saw this on Twitter and I'm mad about it, okay? I'm mad, okay? So a gay boy posted this exchange in messages. It's not really an exchange. It's just a series of messages, okay? Take a look. We're going to read them together and we're going to learn a valuable life lesson. From the gay boy. I think it's safe to say I definitely like you. Heart, drive safe, pretty boy. I hope it was just as nice being held as it was for me to hold you. Gay. This is why hooking up with gay guys is better than hooking up with straight guys. Not that I would know directly, but I hear stories from women. Anyway, this was texted at 5:43 a.m., so they were up late. Okay, we get the context. They fall asleep, morning text, how's your morning, by the way? Then later that night, hey, was last night too much? Then later that night, if it has anything to do with me rambling last night, I'm sorry if it made you uncomfy at all. Embarrassed emoji. I'm bad with words. When I'm really tired, I can say things that are a bit out of pocket. Okay, this has 6,098 quote tweets, and people are making fun of this person for texting a bunch. I'm going to defend this person, this gay boy. There is nothing wrong with how much they texted, and the problem is with all of you. All of you are on trial. I am rotating the prosecutor's desk around, and now all of you are on trial, okay? Sit down, okay? It's death penalty time, all right? You're fighting for your lives over here, okay? What the f*** is wrong with you people? When did people become so cynical that this is seen as over texting? You have a great date that presumably they hooked up. You know, I'm guessing. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Presumably they hooked up though. And then like the follow-up text the next morning. And then later in the night, you're like, oh, wait, they're not responding. Haha, did something happen that was wrong? I had a good time. Did they have a good time? Is this too much? The answer is no. I'm not actually taking answers on this. People are like, bro, if you double text, you're indicating desperation, which lowers your sexual marketplace value. I quadruple text. I don't give a shit. I'll more than quadruple. I don't care. If I want to message somebody, I'll message somebody. If that puts them off, they can die. I don't care. And more people need to live like this, all right? This is one of the things that makes dating worse, is that people will like have a great date. Like you can have a first date with somebody where you're like leaning into each other in the car seat for like 6 hours making out or whatever. Like both of you rock hard or wet, who cares? Having a great time, clearly invested. And then afterwards, you're both are doing this like tap dance game where you're like, well, hold on. I may have just spent like 3 hours with my hand buried in her, but I can't like suggest I'm overly invested here. Let me send a 2-word question to her exactly 3 hours after I wake up the following morning. What is wrong with you guys? What, like, seriously? I genuinely don't. And by the way, Vermin can attest, I am not a super emotionally involved person, okay? I'm like Sheldon from the Big Bang Theory. That's who I am, okay? I'm a little distant sometimes. And so I'm busy, okay? I've got a lot going on, all right? I'm a busy boy. I'm chair shopping. Okay? Bazinga. I feel like people are so terrified of being cringe that you're being inhuman. There is nothing weird or wrong about like being pathetically into somebody. That's normal. It's okay. People are so afraid of being vulnerable that like you're like like you're all ooh in person, but then like it's on text and it's like, oh, I have to pretend I'm so distant now. I have to pretend now after having like 6 days fantasizing about the date we're about to have, and then had an amazing date, and then spent every second after the date like woozy with affection. Now I have to do this game where I'm that was pretty good, haha. Like I'm so distant and cool, bro. Responding to the girl who sucked my dick 3 times in one night. That was pretty good. Was fun hanging out. Haha. What are you doing? What the f are you doing? What? I literally though. That was pretty cool. Like what? Seriously. I thought gay guys were better with shit. No. This other guy is ghosting him. The other person will not respond. Okay? I know the gay dynamic. The other guy is not going to respond to this. So this guy's alone, the lucid lover boy. He's dead now, unfortunately. Yeah, exactly. Encourage simping for people you're super into. I have seen people use the term simping to describe people that they're dating. Dog, you're allowed to simp for the people you're dating. That's fun. That's what you're supposed to do. What? So it's fine. That's okay. What? Like, you should be. But immediately in chat, a lot of people were like, oh, why is he messaging so much? Now you're hiding because you think you're not getting the death penalty, but you are. The prosecutor's chair is swiveled. He sees all. It's so weird. I think, does the same apply to friends texting each other? Text people as much as you want. Text them 10 times. I don't care. You guys have way overcorrected. We all heard stories of some people being like a little bit crazy and overly like obsessive or whatever, and we all overcorrected, and now everyone's terrified to send 2 texts in a row. And people are like editing their messages post-date to make sure they don't come across too emotionally involved, all right? You people are insane. We have overcorrected, okay? You will know if you're like over spamming them or whatever, because if you're over spamming them, they'll tell you, and if they don't tell you, that's their problem. This is what it's like with the tactical autism thing, okay? Where people self-limit because they're terrified of bothering others. King, queen, spread your wings. If you annoy them, that's their problem, not yours. Seriously, I'm not joking. People need to be more comfortable directly telling off annoying behavior for others, and far more comfortable with the possibility of being annoying. Being annoying is just a normal thing that humans will do to their friends and the people they're with. Sometimes. Not always, ideally, but sometimes. That's normal. You can have a great relationship, and sometimes your partner's being annoying. That's fine. But people only feel comfortable letting that open after they've already had 12 kids with somebody, okay? I think people should be way more forthcoming. And I think it's genuinely like really sad that this guy got ghosted and a bunch of people are like, dude, man, 6 messages in a row? Really? Yeah, I don't care. I'd send 6. Yeah, for sure. Okay, these texts right here were sent at 5:43. If my goodbye text to a chick were at 5:43, I have presumably impregnated her, okay? She is pregnant, like there's no way. And then like this, like though that's too much, I don't care. Just don't be entitled to a timely response. I have another thing I'd like to put you all on trial for. Are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Okay. I think that people have a right to respond to messages whenever they want, and it's not necessarily a sign that people are ignoring you if they don't respond quickly. People often do have a lot going on and are busy. However, if you care about a person, put in the effort. I'm taking both sides on this one. Generally speaking, it's fine if you take a while to get back to somebody. However, this bottom sent you goodbye texts at 5:43 a.m. I think you could have responded back. I think you could have woken up and thought, oh, wow, that bottom whose guts I rearranged the previous night, I feel like I will respond and say that you are nice. I think that simultaneously you can say, yeah, we should expect people to be varied with their message response times, and then also say, but come the f on here. Like, let's be real. If you're only responding every other day and you're responding at 2 a.m. right before going to bed, do they really care? That's always the big warning sign. It's when you get the response messages like late at night because now they're lying in bed and they're about to fall asleep. So they're like, okay, you know? So if like, not to say that's innately bad or whatever, every time, but like, come on, man, you were in their guts. Come on, be real. Be real. Yeah, no, Teletech, I have ghosted people for sure. 100%. In my defense, most people are really boring. But yeah, no, I have ghosted people. However, I will say this, I never ghost people after f***ing them. I've ghosted people before first dates, never after. Because after a first date, or whatever, there's enough mutual emotional, or certainly physical investment, if we fucked, that I think, you know, there's a courteous obligation, at the very least, for if I just don't want to see or talk to them, you know, to just say like, oh, I had a really good time, but I wouldn't do that after seeing a person. Before seeing a person, I can be a bit of a about that, I admit, but you know, it's something I'm trying to work on. I'm just saying I can't stand how callous people are, you know? Like, look at these responses, man. Leave him alone. Leave my nuts out of your mouth. True. No shade, but you're really pretty, and you really don't have to do all that. If someone sent this to me, I wouldn't ghost, but I would definitely find this type of attachment a bit extreme. How is this extreme? You don't know what, like, crazy looks like if you think this is extreme. You have not seen crazy if you think this is extreme. I also really hate the line, "You're really pretty, you don't have to do all that." So what? Because the bottom here is pretty, they should be the withdrawn one and wait for the top to be the one to, like, overinvest? You. That's the same logic, just in reverse. What if the top was even prettier? And also, just do it regardless of who's prettier. Yeah, like, if the corollary to saying, you don't have to do this, you're pretty, would be saying, you're ugly, you should try harder. And f that. Are you gay too? Yes, you are gay. I can tell just for, yep. God damn. Oh my god, my radar. Vosh, that's what we're saying. Maybe they're lame for not texting back within the 24 hours, but the ghosted shouldn't post their stack text on Twitter expecting sympathy. Why not? Why not? What's wrong with being a little heartbroken? Is that not a human experience? Why not? So they had a pleasant time, and then they were infatuated enough for the aforementioned 5:43 a.m. leave text, or what? Why not? What's wrong with that? Are you so cynical that when you see this, it's like, oh, look at this bottom baiting attention? What's wrong with that? Why is everyone so eager to ostracize? Well, okay, maybe, sure, Vermin, but I think that it shouldn't be that way. I mean, Twitter is garbage. Guys, wait, hold on. This is unironic victim blaming logic. I can't be like, hey, I think it's bad that people have this opinion, and that people are like, oh, well, on Twitter, everyone's an asshole. Like, what are you talking about? Shut up. And also, it's not just a Twitter thing. People are callous about this kind of stuff everywhere. Gen Z self-imposes so much of its own social anxiety. You guys are making it worse for yourselves, you know? A lot of you are younger than me. I'm not lonely, all right? If I wanted to, I could go, I'm fine. I'm autism pilled. If I want to hook up with somebody, if I want some strange, I'll just send them 20 messages about Legos, all right? I have the power. You're the weak ones, okay? You're the ones who are over here thinking, well, if I send one message and then the second one, she won't ghost me, will she? No, like, you're the weak ones. You break free. Break the chains. Get out there, man. Get out there. Have a date and then send 10 messages saying how you like the date. And if they don't respond in 5 seconds, dox them. No, just try to be forthcoming, okay? Yes, critical aloofness is a defense mechanism that a lot of people fall into. He says this shit on repeat, so crushing. Yes, because this, like, unwillingness to be cringe, this fear of being cringe, this fear of being vulnerable is endemic to, like, everything here, you know? It's, like, all over the place. Straight, gay, man, woman, whatever, like, all over the place. This shit, you know, people are just terrified of investment with others. And it's really weird. And you're yourselves over, like, really badly. It's not good for you. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. It's not good for you. And what's the worst case scenario? Somebody, like, stirs up your guts and then gets burdened with a few messages from you. Like, what do you call that? Oh, that's meh. Vosh, what about the it takes a lot of emotional energy to regularly interact argument? Then die. If you want friends, if you want partners, if you want people in your life, then you have to do that. You can't just not engage with people ever and live a half-life, okay? One of the reasons you're so tired is because you're living a half-life right now. You're not alive. You're a ghost. You're a ghost man. You're not alive right now. You're not a man, okay? You have to grow stronger, okay? You're not real. You're invisible. Starting to see why this is the loneliest generation. Dude, seriously! Loneliness is higher than ever in recorded history. And it's like, hey, if you like a person, or if you, like, want to meet people and get along with them, you should be willing to risk emotional investment and, like, really message them and, like, actually try to talk with them rather than constant disengaged, like, I can't be seen to be investing in this too much or it'll be cringe or whatever. And people are like, no, like, what the what if I'm the boring one? Impossible. You're a tier 2 VGG sub. You can't be boring. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps rhetoric, Vosh. Yes! It's okay to advocate for people to change their behavior. To be fair, advising people to be coy with their attraction isn't a new thing. No, there's a difference between being coy and being terrified of sounding engaged. I once went out with a chick. Okay, I once went out with a chick who, okay, most of the people that I date or hang out with or see with my eyeballs or think about, I have sex with on the first date. But there was one chick who I went out with who I didn't. And she was very coy about sex. And by coy about sex, right? What I mean is she wasn't, like, staunch or socially conservative or, like, prudish or unwilling to talk about it or anything like that. It was like she treated the subject with a kind of light invested amusement. Like whenever there would be like flirting, or we would get food or like talk with each other and be like, oh, it was looking pretty hot, and then she, rather, it was interesting because I'm usually very forthcoming and she wasn't, but the way she did it, and I want to be clear about this, the way she did it was not her indicating a lack of interest. It was the opposite. It was her indicating interest in her own way. And that makes all the difference. Her being a little bit coy and a little bit, I think the term is coquettish, or like, oh, I'm glad you like it. You look pretty nice yourself. Like that, like the like low tone, I'll flirt back, but like not full on grab your dick in a parking lot thing, which I assume was a lot more common back before people started hooking up on first dates all the time, Tinder or whatever. But, whatever led her to act that way, it was playful and it indicated interest. And I thought it was delightful. I thought it was very nice. And I think fondly of her still. And keep in mind, she did that without like super engaged overcommitment. The playfulness was just her way of expressing interest. I'm just saying express interest, Just don't think of every social engagement as a like game to minimize your level of projected interest. Because if you do that, you're going to die alone. Unironically, how do you master that playful coyness? I don't know. I'm a direct autistic guy. It's not my thing. I'm glad there are people out there like that, though. Vosh, I don't want to seem like I'm harassing or being intrusive to someone. Just listen, talking to people a lot sometimes means bothering people. That's fine. Just be respectful. Like, don't be rude or demanding or anything. Like, don't do those things. And if a person is consistently engaging with you less than you're engaging with them, take that as a sign of disinterest and move on. That's it. If they're a little bothered in the meantime, them. You're not hurting them. You're not ruining their day. It's not like this isn't an injury being inflicted. How many serious long-term partners have you had? Not many. Have a positive attitude. You are imposing on their comfort. That's life. Who cares if their comfort? What? So they're like, you're like, oh man, I am like ruining their day by DMing them on Twitter. Them? What do you mean? Listen, a very important lesson, okay? Give everyone the chance to disappoint you anew. All right? Never walk into an engagement or look at a person and think, oh, they wouldn't want to talk to me anyway. F you, baby. Baby bitch. Stupid baby bitch. Tiny. I could snap your arms like carrots. Your neck is so scrawny. You baby. You can't even hold your head up straight. You can't even walk. Baby bitch. Jesus Christ. So you bother them a little bit. All right, bother them. Great. It's not like you don't bother me. I get 100 emails a day, 100 Twitter DM requests a day. You people clearly don't have an issue bothering people who are busy. So do it with somebody who's actually going to respond properly. Vosh, I literally never talk to women ever, purely because I know 100 other guys have already approached her that day. You are a genetic failure, and your line will die with you. What are you talking about? No, I'm not even engaging with this. What are you talking about? You're insane. You're completely insane. It has to be bait. It has to be bait. That can't be real. Many states have made overtexting a crime. No, they haven't. Vosh, back when I was a boy, I approached women more than other dudes, but I was considered less creepy because I wasn't creepy. I've said before, man, the secret to approaching people in person or in DMs or text or whatever the fuck else is give people conversational outs, okay? That's the main thing you want to do. It is okay to go up to people. It is okay to be presumptuous and bother people a little bit. That's fine. You are a human. You deserve the attention of others. At least you deserve a bit of their attention to see whether or not things are going to work out. Don't live life like a zombie traipsing about thinking, oh, well, every one of the potentially thousands of social interactions I could have today, in person or online, would end poorly anyway, so I might as well not try. F you. Yeah, they are going to end poorly if you take that attitude towards them. Talk to a person. Whatever. It's fine. Be friendly. Who cares? All of you, Jesus, God. What would a conversational out look like? A pause? If you're having a conversation with somebody, you have to find out whether or not they're interested in talking to you. And the best ways of doing that are, A, indicate that you're going to take brief breaks in the subject or that you have something else to do, but you're fine to continue talking. And B, asking them for their opinion on something they've said or something that you've said. Ask them a question. From the answer that they give you, you can usually determine whether or not they're interested in continuing the conversation. For example, if you want to talk to a cute girl about Legos, and God, who wouldn't, you can ramble at her about Legos for 15 minutes, and maybe she likes that, but maybe she doesn't. It's just being too polite to walk away or whatever. So a better idea might be to go like, hey, I really like this thing. It's just a little thing. But hey, have you ever played with like Legos when you were a kid? Do you like Legos? And then you can tell from her answer, like, does she answer enthusiastically? Does she answer neutrally? Does she answer hesitantly? Like, whatever. That's totally fine. And then you'd be like, oh, well, I bought a set recently, and they really made the sets more complicated, but I had a surprising amount of fun. I felt like, I felt like a real goofball opening it up and throwing all those pieces on the ground, but it was a lot of fun. Oh yeah, have you ever done like any like modern DIY stuff? Like, if you ask questions like that, you can usually get input from them that'll give you an idea as to whether or not they're interested. And if it ever seems like they're not interested, you can just say, oh well, it was wonderful talking to you. Have a great day, dude. If you're the kind of guy who can realize when a woman's not interested in talking, look at her and say, oh, well, it's been great talking, have a good one, and then walk away, you'll be better than 99% of the guys who have tried to talk to her that day, okay? That is a skill most people don't have. If you can do that and learn to do it, and it takes skill and practice, by the way, so you have to keep doing it to get good at it. You don't just magically get good at it. It takes practice. If you can do that, if you can learn to do that, you'll be fine. I promise you'll be fine, okay? From Vermin, Vosh, I'm pretty sure on our first date you talked at me for like half an hour about your abattoir game idea, and you also told me you grew out of autism, and I think back on that fondly. Yeah, I was a little bit less self-aware back then. But bitches love listening to me talk about my game ideas. It was a whole different one back then, folks. You guys have no idea. Anyway, like that, okay? Just like conversational ins, conversational outs. It's simple as that, okay? Just learn whether or not people are interested in talking to you. And you know what, guys? If you bother a person a little bit, like it seems like they didn't really like the convo, that's fine. That's okay. That's all right. That's okay. That's fine. That's life. Vosh, me and my GF have lived together for a couple years and we're still so awkward that we can never initiate sex, resulting in us just never having sex. Or we just, what do we do? You're insane. What is wrong with you? You've lived together for years. Walk up to them and grab their ass so like really hard. How hard is this? What do you mean? What? Grab her by the pussy? What do you mean? God, what? I'm sorry. I'm not in your mind space. I can't fathom living with a person and being in that mind space. I can't fathom it. I can't fathom it. I'm sorry. I can't help you. Okay, here's what you have to do, okay? Set a ringing alarm in the middle of the house to go off at random intervals, and when it goes off, you both have to run towards it. Okay? You need that. Stanley Dog, every time Vosh talks about relationship sex, it makes me hate myself that much more. Never even tried to enter a relationship or have sex. 25 now. I feel like such a zombie. Damn, that sounds like a personal. Quit feeling sorry for yourself, okay? You could literally stop watching the stream, right? You don't like what you're hearing? You could stop watching the stream. You don't like what you're doing? You could change it. I see you, Stanley the Dog. It doesn't matter how fat, short, tall, ugly, whatever. You're a person, and there are experiences you're cheating yourself out of, okay? You can just... Listen, people talk about emotions influencing behavior a lot because they're dumb. In reality, behavior influences emotions more often than not. Force yourself into patterns that improve your life, and your outlook will improve with it. You know, there's literally research indicating that if a person forces a smile for long enough, it will make them happier. People are very susceptible to the patterns that they build for themselves. Go out there and go on a walk. Go on a walk 3 times a week, 20 minutes each walk. I don't care where you live, you can walk. You have time for it. You're watching a live stream. You could go out on a walk. Go to any retail outlet whatsoever. I don't care if they sell groceries or shoes or clothing, and have a conversation with somebody working there. Anyone, just a little, like, not like like, oh, hey, walk up. Do you like Legos? No, just like go in there and be like, oh, do you have like this thing? Oh, that looks nice. Okay, that's a conversation. Congratulations, well done. Get some groceries bagged. Talk to the person there. Stop ordering stuff online. You get DoorDash, don't you? Stop getting DoorDash. Get your shit in person. Talk to the people there. You're only a zombie because you're making yourself one. And I will bootstraps your ass, okay? Because at the end of the day, any social change that could meaningfully fix this on a broader level is going to take years to implement, but you have control over your behavior and you can live a better life. You can do it. Also, you're only 25. Jesus Christ, you're super young, all right? Got plenty of time. Plenty of time. Plenty of time. Vosh, that is brainless small talk, not making a friend. You idiot! You buffoon! You fool! You have fallen into my trap. Where do you think friends come from? The dumbass? The ether? Where do you think you get that skill from? What do you go to the friend store? No. You talk with people, and you talk with enough people, and eventually you're going to talk with somebody who talks a little bit longer than the other people. And if they talk a little bit longer than the other people, then you're going to be able to talk to them about more substantive subjects. You're going to be able to have a real conversation. This is how you make friends. I guarantee you guys, and I'll say this confidently, and you know why I can say it? It's because I know I'm good at one thing, conversation. I know I'm good at that. I could go into any retail joint here in Seattle, and I could entertain the workers there. Not every single worker. Some people really just want to get through the day. But more often than not, I bet you I could go there and just be a joy that they would reflect on later in the day and think, oh, that guy was pretty nice, you know? It's not that tough. I've worked retail. Trust me. A customer who's just not an asshole is a breath of fresh air. A customer who is actively charismatic and fun to be around, actually fun to be around, that's something that a lot of people will remember for a while. I can do it. Any of you could do it. Any of you. It just takes practice. And that practice, that's not just like some esoteric skill. That is your birthright. That's the blood flowing through your veins. The ability to interact with other people, to communicate with them, to share experiences, to share your feelings. This is not some like weird trick. It's what you're supposed to do. But modern society has made it difficult. So you're going to have to put a little bit of effort in, all right? But you got to go out there and you got to talk to people. Even if it's just a little bit of talking, you build up the skill. And the more comfortable you are talking to people, the more you begin to realize you're not bothering them. And the more you realize you're not bothering them, the more daring you'll be with conversation. When I was less social, when I didn't talk to people as directly as I do now, for me, talking to a person was like a little chit chat, you know, whatever. Nowadays, I make friends. The last retail place that I went to was the share store, and I'm buddies with that guy there. We talked for 25 minutes while I was trying out chairs. I can do anything. The last retail place I went to before that was the Nordstrom's in downtown Seattle, where I spent a half an hour talking with the guy who was helping me find shoes in my very large foot size. It's not hard once you learn to do it. And the one at Nordstrom was pretty cute too. I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, this is just a human skill that you can do, but it takes practice. It takes practice. You have to practice in order to do it. And it's much easier to make friends when you can do it, because then you could do it anywhere. You could do it at the grocery store. You could do it when going to like a game shop to buy Magic the Gathering cards or something. You could do it anywhere. It's a valuable skill. The ability to communicate. Super important. Vosh, I'm extremely anxious and I've gone out of my way to say small things to retail workers like I really like your nails or I love your hair color, etc. It makes them smile and I feel good afterwards. After a while, I was in a shoe shop and the lady there was so nice to me and we got along so well that we exchanged Instagrams. Rainbow! Guys! This is what I mean! Like that! And Rainbow's generally anxious. It's not even just being a super ultra charisma, whatever. You can do it. You can do it. Bosh, I hear you, but at the same time, I worry I'll stumble over my words or say something stupid, so I just tend to avoid the conversation altogether. Then die! No, wait, I'm afraid this fundamental human life skill might take a bit of effort for me to get good at, so I'll just never do it. Eat food, but I might get a crumb in my beard. I will simply never eat food for fear I will just sit here and die. Drink water. What if I spill some on my lap? Never again. Never again. Never again. Eventually the stream will just degenerate into like a Germa stream or whatever, where just everything is a bit.